Hello, everyone, brothers and sisters of the Diocese of Fargo. I'm very pleased today to be here with Mr. Chris Carstens. Mr. Chris Carstens is the Director of Liturgy for the Diocese of La Crosse, Wisconsin, and he also serves as a consultor for the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Liturgy Committee. And we have the great privilege and honor of having him be our keynote speaker at our 2025 Parish Musicians Workshop. That 2025 Parish Musicians Workshop will happen October 24th and 25th in Fargo, North Dakota at St. Paul's Newman Center. And you're all welcome to sign up and attend to that. It's an opportunity for people to get a little bit more formation in their service as parish musicians. And I just want to make it clear that we accept musicians of all skill levels, beginners and people who are more advanced and experienced, all are welcome there. We also offer voice and piano and organ lessons and an opportunity to sing in large groups. So I was hoping that we would have Mr. Carstens here today to just introduce himself and maybe give us a little hint as to what he is going to be talking about when he joins us in October. So Chris, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Father Seitz. Thanks for the invitation to come to Fargo. Thanks for the interview today, too. Yeah, where do I come from? So I currently live in Wisconsin, but my roots are in the Plain States. I'm from Nebraska, South Central Nebraska. So I grew up there in a farming community and did a lot of farming related things growing up. Went to the University of Nebraska when I went to college, and went to University of Nebraska before I transferred to the University of Dallas. I ended up going there for graduate studies, and I got a fancy graduate degree in philosophy. So I met, it was there that I met my future wife, who was a native Wisconsinite. So we got married and moved back to Wisconsin 27 years ago, been married for 27 years. And lo and behold, they didn't have a lot of philosophy jobs in Southwest rural Wisconsin. But I was offered a position by then Bishop Raymond Burke, who was the bishop of the Diocese of La Crosse, to work in the liturgy office. And I didn't know anything about the liturgy necessarily, but he thought I had good formation at least to this point. So I enrolled in the first class at the Liturgical Institute in Mundelein when it opened in 2001. So I went there for a graduate degree in liturgical studies. And I've had this job ever since. So since then, not only worked here in the diocese, I taught at the Liturgical Institute for 20 years and in the seminary, at Mundelein Seminary, for about 15 years. Have been the editor and publisher of Adoremus Bulletin for about 10 years. This summer helped to begin a liturgical studies program at Christendom College in Front Royal, Virginia. It's another graduate degree program in liturgical studies. So that's what I do professionally, but I guess my main job is being a husband and a father to a great family. I have 8 kids, and they've all, grown up on the farm. Now they're leaving and getting married and starting families of their own, but been truly blessed to be in Wisconsin, to be a liturgist of all things. Who would have thought? And to start a good family. So that's a bit about me.
So when you began, actually, let's go a little bit farther back. So you grew up Catholic then?
Yep.
And, did you ever like serve as an altar boy or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I did.
But you never saw yourself doing liturgy professionally?
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I wanted in the worst way. And I used to laugh at my friends who'd go to college and change their majors, half a dozen times before the end of their freshman year. I wanted to work in some capacity in the outdoors. So I was studying to be a fisheries biologist. Actually, that was one of my last jobs. But yeah, God has his designs, his plans, and I've been a very happy liturgist in a field that often makes people unhappy. But when lived rightly and understood rightly, it's a great sense of joy. So that's been a great job.
Yeah. So when you began with Bishop Burke in your position in the liturgy office in La Crosse, like how steep did you find that learning curve? Was there a lot for you to learn, or was it pretty easy for you to take on?
Well, both, I would say. I mean, there's it's a particular skill set, as you know, at a sliver of knowledge, to know liturgical things. What's the order of procession of the holy oils at the Chrism Mass or something? Who knows that stuff? So there's some specific things to learn about the liturgy that took a while and a lot of trial and error and misunderstanding, but especially through my college years, living in a Catholic culture, made that somewhat easy. I was a mass goer and received sacraments and loved the church, loved to serve the church and her liturgy in different ways. So that wasn't difficult. It was able to do something that I love to do. So, like I say, a little bit of both.
Okay. And as a part of your duties as director of liturgy for the diocese, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, it's this is one of the things that makes it such a great job. Is in some ways my job is to help people to pray, and people want to know how to pray. I'm not, personally, Father Seitz, I'm not a real sort of argumentative or polemical type of person. And if you were to look up liturgy stories online, it's a lot of hand wringing and anxiety and frustration about liturgical things. And but I think what's missed in all of that is the real heart of the matter, the real joy and beauty and excellence of the liturgy, which is to come face to face with God. And that's a beautiful thing. And what I found in serving in the liturgical apostolate is helping people to live a liturgical life, to pray better, to have a glimpse of the heavens, is something that does not get people in a lather and make them want to argue with you or things like that. It's something that they really crave. So it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. Yeah.
You talked about the being the editor of the Adoramus Bulletin. Could you tell our audience a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I will. And in fact, I didn't really answer your first question. I distracted myself on sort of something that's fundamental, right? So helping to that end, what we do in the office, probably what you do in your office, what we do at Adoramus, is sort of based upon that principle to help priests and ministers and musicians and lectors to serve God in the liturgy beautifully and faithfully and intelligently. And sort of the flip side of that, even if you and all your ministers do things perfectly, the people have to understand what it is that they're engaged in. So the flip side of that is helping people to understand the liturgy and to go deeper in it. So in the office and at Adoramus, we kind of do those two things. It's a lot of formation, a lot of education. In the office, we help to oversee the OCIA for the bishop, lots of minister workshops and ongoing formation. Help to prepare the bishop's significant liturgies. I mentioned the Chrism Mass before. We're really at the service of parishes, though. And that's not just the priests, but their ministers, they're faithful in sacred music and sacred art and architecture, minister formation. And I would say the Adoramus Bulletin is similar to that. It's not an academic publication. We hope it's substantial and meaty, but it's not written for academics. It's written for parish priests. It's written for faithful Catholics. It's written for people on parish staffs to help them to come to appreciate the mind of the church. It's not Chris Carstens, liturgical theories or anything like that. Nobody cares about that. What does the church think about sacred music, sacred architecture, the various sacraments and the rituals that we celebrate? So yeah, it's about helping to make liturgies beautiful and fruitful in people's lives. That's what we do in the office. That's what we do at Adoramus. That's basically kind of what I do in whatever aspect that I happen to be working in liturgically.
Right. All right. Well, that sounds very good. I guess you're coming into our parish musicians workshop. You're going to be giving a keynote presentation. Have you ever? Have you written anything else outside of the Adoramus Bulletin?
Yeah, there's a couple of books from Sophia Press. One's called A Devotional Journey into the Mass, And then there's another one called A Devotional Journey into the Easter Mystery. And what both of these things are is to help people to see what's going on beneath the surface, if you want to put it that way. What's going on behind the signs and the symbols? And the answer is Jesus Christ is present and active. But many people just don't see that. So it's helping people to see what's really going on there. I wrote a liturgy textbook, which I think you'll find fascinating, bedstand type of reading, called Principles of Sacred Liturgy. And this, and it's called Forming a Sacramental Vision. And this will be a part of what I want to talk about too, is that if we don't think about what a sacrament is, right? There's a dimension that you can see, smell, taste, touch, or hear. But what that's doing is revealing and communicating and manifesting a supernatural reality. And having a proper sacramental hearing, for example, for musicians, is if you're not hearing sort of the undertones, if you want to put it that way, in sacred music or any part of the liturgy, you're not really seeing or hearing what is there. And this book helps to form a sacramental vision that, it's more than building buildings and singing songs and reading words and wearing certain vesture. Those are communicators of much more magnificent realities that we want people to encounter. And again, if musicians don't know what that is, then it's hard to make an informed decision about, musical choices, for example. If your building committee doesn't realize that the building a building is more than, saving money or meeting, building codes and, abating asbestos or whatever it might be, but that you're trying to depict the heavenly Jerusalem, well, it's going to be it's not going to be a very satisfying building. And so this book, Principles of Sacred Liturgy, is helping to do that. So yeah, couple other things that are out there that you might find.
It's interesting, kind of the task that you have, because there's one kind of skill set that would be good for helping somebody improve their technique with, let's say they're a cantor, improve their technique with air support and vowel shapes in their mouth and these very technical aspects of developing your musical skill. But there's also, kind of what you're pointing at here is kind of like a moral formation and like a spiritual transformation to be able to see Christ in the liturgy and to put your own, let's say, human gifts and your human talents at the service of that, and to cooperate and to participate with that. So it's actually it's a bold thing to try and do that kind of liturgical formation right there, but it's probably also bound up with just the regular old Christian life as well.
Yeah. It's my own musical formation. Is that I was a percussionist I took piano lessons like most kids do, and was a percussionist. When I got to college, it was a little state school in Nebraska. I got drafted into the what do they call it? Like the orchestra band, to play timpani, of all things, and which was terrifying incidentally, because I've never really thought I had a good ear for music. I knew, rhythms and things like that. These timpani or these kettle drums, there's a little pedal on them that you might know that will change the note. And so in the middle of a piece, while the band is still playing, the orchestra is still playing, you've got to change the note on this certain drum so you can come on at the end and give this big roll and everything. And like I said, it was terrifying. I was just going to blast into there right at the finale and, be a few notes off. I eventually started to sing in choirs in college. Well, I would say contemporary choirs, but also, Renaissance polyphony types of choirs. When I got to work in the liturgy office, being a musical is a great skill to have in a liturgy office, because, music is so fundamental and essential to things liturgical. And, I don't know where it is, what it's like in Fargo, but fewer and fewer people, I think, have a liturgical formation. And so it often falls to me there's no cantor. Well, look, guess who's cantoring today? So I started to do that. And then in my local parish too, we're not exactly the Van Trapp family singers, but it's my family who is the music for the parish, not because we're the best, but because it's either us or nobody, right? So I'm a part of a small rural parish, about 90 families. And it's me and my children, mostly my daughters, who provide the music for the Mass. And even though my kids are in piano lessons, I think to being able to accompany whether it's hymns or Mass ordinaries or something like that is apparently a whole different ball game from being able to, plink out your recital piece on a piano. And so most of the music that we sing in my local parish is all a cappella. And we sing so well, and we sing so much of the Mass that I'm pretty impressed with the limited resources that we have. Now, this is all a long-winded way of saying, Father, you talk about the different types of insights or skills or talents or perspectives that really need to come together to be able, to be the type of church musician I think that the church has in mind. It's more than just knowing, what a charisma is in Gregorian chant, or, certain vocal techniques or things like that. But it's more too than just being a theologian or something. But if we can, really fill out the picture with all of these different dimensions, then we can serve the liturgy better. We can serve God's people together. We can glorify the Trinity more perfectly. We can sanctify ourselves the whole while. So, yeah, there's a lot that, and I think musicians know this. There's a lot that needs to happen, and I hope I can contribute a not insignificant piece of this when I'm with y'all in October.
Yeah, that'd be very helpful. Yeah. And I appreciate the example that you're given of bringing all your daughters to church and really making the music happen there. And and sometimes music can be a little bit daunting and intimidating, and like you were talking about with the timpani, and that might give people a certain amount of discouragement from going out, putting themselves out there, and trying something new. But if everybody just decides, then we're not going to have music at Mass, and they're all too scared to do it, then we're going to have very quiet, very low Masses everywhere. But putting yourself out there is just a wonderful thing. So I appreciate that you're doing that, and I sure hope the priest there in your little town in Wisconsin appreciates the same thing. I've got a couple Catholic questions for you. Do you have a favorite church in the world that you think is magnificent?
Well, I've never been to San Clemente in Rome, but I think if you're familiar with it, it's easily Googleable, if that's a word. There's this very famous apse at the Church of San Clemente, and it's this cross there, and it's just this vine, these tendrils that just go everywhere, and it's beautiful, and it's gold, and it's green. As I said, I've never seen it in person, but if I ever get to Rome again, that is one church I'm going to see. Have you ever been there?
I think I have been there. That's a very old one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like a 12th century mosaic. It's glorious. So,
yeah.
Okay, but apart from that, I'm actually very fond of my cathedral here in La Crosse. I like that a lot. My own little parish, actually, in Rolling Ground, Wisconsin, just had about 5 years ago, very beautiful and theologically informed and well executed sort of renovation and beautification. So I like that too. But apart from that, boy, that should be such an obvious and easy questions. But those at least are the ones that come to mind.
All right, that's good. Do you have a favorite composer?
A favorite composer?
If you don't have a favorite, just tell us about one that you like.
Yeah. Let's see. Who am I listening to now? I do like a lot of Renaissance music, and I like Arcangelo Corelli a lot. I'm kind of in a Handel kick right now, like Haydn a lot. By the time they get to too much classical, I don't really listen to too much of that.
It's kind of boring at that point.
Boring. What about Mozart? Didn't know a thing. When I was at the University of Dallas and able to sing, some really beautiful stuff. I remember singing like the Duraflé Requiem Mass, and the types of things. I'm a kind of a sap, Father. The types of things that are so beautiful, you like get choked up, which of course you can't at all sing when you're
Mhm.
you're like weeping, something like that. But
Mhm.
this stuff was so beautiful, so beautiful. How could you not just be moved by it? So, when I look back at things I did sing, yeah, that Duraflame Requiem is kind of very special to me. Um, yeah, yeah, I like those.
Who was your confirmation saint?
It was when I was confirmed. They told us just to pick your baptismal name. So I don't even know if I have a confirmation saint. So I don't know, but so Christopher is my first name. James is James the Greater is my middle, and their feast day are both July 25th. And some people don't think Christopher ever existed, or the church kicked him off the calendar or something like that. That's not true. He's not on our local calendar, but his feast day is July 25th. So I still try to cultivate a devotion to him and call upon him pretty regularly. Yeah.
Right. Do you have any devotional items that you wear every day?
I have a St. Christopher medal that I'm wearing right now. I try to have a rosary in my pocket at all times. But yeah, my St. Christopher medal.
Right. Very good. And I don't want to spoil our get together in October, but could you give us just a little preview of what your keynote address is going to be about?
Yeah, it's going to look at sort of a theology or spirituality of liturgical music from like 35,000 feet. It's going to look at big picture stuff because I know liturgists get blamed for this all the time, right? They're just rubricists, and they never see the forest for the trees, and it's just about the details, and you kind of lose sight of the rest. And I suppose liturgical musicians can be susceptible to this as well, right? And they should be. There's a real precision to the art that needs to be there for it to be magnificent and beautiful and moving. But what I want to do is offer sort of a big picture look at the theology or spirituality of liturgical music, how it exists in the Trinity. You mentioned, I think you did, at least I was going to mention this before, about how and whether people sing today. And we're going to look almost like an anthropology of singing, that men and women are born singers. It's in our DNA to sing things. And so you probably come up against this, and music directors who might be listening to this. Oh, well, I don't sing. Father, would you mind, singing the collect or something like that during Advent? Oh, I don't sing. Or, hey, why don't you join the choir? No, I don't know how to sing. And I think there are some people who really just don't seem to have, or don't find singing very easy. But I think for the majority of people, it's I just don't buy that. I think most people can sing. They might not have been trained to sing, but men and women are supposed to sing. So back to this presentation, we're just going to look at some music from. We're going to take a step back and look at, as I mentioned before, maybe some undertones of what's going on in music. What's the Trinity doing? What's the church doing? What are human beings doing? How does the church sing? Is there music in heaven? So it's to really ground what we do in the liturgy in some real substantial principles. Because, like we said before, if you don't know what's going on behind, say, this sacramental song, well, you're really missing something there. I want to help people to see that and to hear that in October.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I look forward to having you out here. And that's just a little bit of a taste of what the full presentation is going to be like. And you mentioned that there are people who don't have much training or experience, or so maybe they might be thinking, I don't sing. And if that's you and you're listening to this, one of the things that we do offer at our musicians workshop is a beginner's choir. And so when I say that we accept musicians of all levels, I really do mean it. If you never learned how to read music and you're not really sure if you can sing, we have a spot for you at this Parish Musicians Workshop. So just a reminder, that's October 24th and 25th at St. Paul's Newman Center in Fargo, North Dakota. In addition to meeting lots of other area musicians from both North Dakota and Minnesota, we've got them from all over the place. You'll have an opportunity to meet Mr. Carstens here, and we can appreciate each other's company. We'll have an opportunity to sing together. We'll have an opportunity to pray together, and hopefully grow close to the Lord. So, Chris, I really appreciate your time today. I really look forward to getting to meet you without the mediation of a screen. And I appreciate your time. So I hope many of you who are listening will join me and Chris and a great number of other musicians at St. Paul's Newman Center on October 24th and 25th in Fargo. Do you have anything else that you would like to add, Chris?
No, other than just thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to this. Our faith is so beautiful and our liturgy is so beautiful, and I hope we can get a real good sense of that with our time together in October.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your time, and God bless you, and God bless anyone who might listen to this.